Hello and welcome to another episode of Who Knew in the Moment, the podcast. I'm your host, Phil Friedrich, and today I'm honored to have Mardracus Wade with me. Mardracus is an assistant men's basketball coach at Murray State. And one of the things I think you're going to hear about his journey is when you fall in love with something, you can really follow your passions and make a career out of it. So, Mardracus, thanks so much for being on today, my man.
Phil, man, thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. So just to start your journey, you grew up in Tennessee and you grew up with a basketball hoop, which allowed a lot of people in the neighborhood to want to come by. But there was a little bit of a problem in the beginning of having the hoop. So talk a little bit about those early days and growing up and, getting introduced to basketball.
Absolutely. Like you said, it started off when I was kind of young, and we had moved kind of out east in Memphis, Tennessee, and we had the only hoop in the neighborhood. So obviously, when you have the only hoop, all the kids want to navigate and migrate to your house. And so the thing about that is that everybody wanted to play on my hoop, but no one picked me. So it's like, God damn, y'all use my hoop, my ball, but no one's picked me. So I had to kind of establish some leadership, some dominance growing up.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, y'all gonna come over here and hoop. Y'all gotta pick me. I don't care if I'm the worst person out here. This is my hoop. This is my ball. I'm on this court. So early on, it kind of let me learn a lot just through just playing against older guys, just kind of pushing through and just trying to be mentally tough. Obviously, I wasn't the quickest. I wasn't the fastest. Those guys were a little bit bigger and more physical than me. So I had to learn quickly that if I'm going to get out here, I gotta kind of catch up to speed. So I kind of got those gears turning in my head that I got to work a little bit harder.
Yes. Now, I think for, many young folks that playing against older kids is one of the first opportunities in life where you're at a disadvantage and you have to figure out how to overcome obstacles, right? Like, hey, when I'm 8 and I'm playing against a 12-year-old, 4 years old at 25 to 29 isn't as big of a deal, but 8 to 12, it's like, man, this is a crazy jump. So, talk a little bit about, starting to develop some basketball skill and just learning by playing with, other kids and maybe potentially older kids too.
Absolutely. Like I was saying at first, what happened was it got my mind going. It's like if I really want to take this thing serious, I really want to do something with it. That I have to be a little bit more dedicated. I have to spend a little bit more time working on my fundamentals.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of good people around me, like my uncle Jerry Johnson. People have helped me along my way, and different coaches have kind of helped me out with fundamental with my ball handling, finishing like that. So I just started taking those things really seriously. Just growing up, because I knew that one day I potentially wanted to play in college and beyond that. And so I knew then if I'm going to do this, then I have to really take this seriously, and then I got to really hone in on the little things like my fundamentals and ball handling, finishing, things like that. So that's what kind of pretty much I did, and I think for the most part, it's helped me throughout my whole career. It has helped me in this journey, this basketball career. Just those little things that happened when I was younger kind of helped develop to where I am today. So
Yeah.
obviously, we can't skip the process. I tell people all the time the biggest teacher in life is experience. There's nowhere
Mm.
around it. We all got to go through them. So it's all about what we do in that moment. We learn and get better, and then don't just dwell so much on the failures, just more on the lesson itself. So that's always been kind of my mindset when it came to basketball and helping my career progress.
That's good. Now, speaking about career progression, so from being a youngster and playing outside to getting into the high school days, your first 3 years, you're athletically gifted, you're a great player, and you're growing as a player, but you're also playing on the AAU circuit. So, talk about those first 3 years of high school and just really starting to realize that, hey, this college opportunity is something I'm going to have the chance to step into and, pursuing and looking at the Division I realm.
Absolutely. I'll start off with this. When I first got to high school, at the time, I went to Mitchell High School in Memphis, Tennessee. At the time, it was only two freshmen that started on varsity. That
Mm,
was me and a kid named Joe Jackson, who was unbelievable player. I mean,
mm.
unbelievable. He was unbelievable in high school. He was unbelievable college player. Had a uh, pretty decent career professionally. But he was just so much gifted. And then once I found out that I can kind of play with these older guys, being a freshman playing on varsity, I had my ups and downs. I won just the every night I'm scoring 20, but it was more just the experience knowing that I had to compete and play hard day in and day out. And I thought that kind of helped me as I continue to move forward in my journey as well. Just playing with older guys and getting better and just really just honing in on those things. And so I really took it serious once being on that AAU circuit, you playing against all these top guys, just day in and day out. It just you're like, oh, okay, I can really do something. Like I'm holding my own against these top guys, and so it's like I have a chance.
Yes. Now, after your first 3 years, an AAU teammate of yours decides to attend a military academy, and Mardracus says, "Well, let me check it out." So, talk a little about making that leap. I think sometimes we look at it and we say, "Oh, well, it was a great opportunity," but we forget this is a 17-year-old kid that's about to leave his friends and go to this random spot. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
us as adults, you go, what a great opportunity. But as a 17-year-old kid, it's like, I'm sure it was a little bit more difficult than, oh, well, it'd be exciting to play basketball here. I'm leaving my friends. So talk a little bit about making that decision and you really, why you felt like that was the best option for you.
To be honest, that was really one of the tough decisions that I ever had to make, leaving all my buddies behind. Because growing up, you always always be tight knit, like never leave your guys. All your day ones. You taught all these things, and it at the moment I wasn't thinking that until later on. But it's like, dang man, I left these dudes kind of behind, and it's like I was looking at the long term goal, and I really wasn't just thinking right then in the moment. I was just thinking about, hey man, I want to um, make my next step my better steps. I want to play with great guys, be in a great league, be coached by great coaches. And so I was playing with a kid named David Chadwick. His father played at North Carolina, actually played with Michael Jordan. And we were playing AU, and I was like, "Hey, man, what you gonna do, next year?" Because he was a senior, and he was a senior, gonna be pretty much a freshman going into college, but he went post grad. And so I was like, "Man, what are you gonna do? I mean, like after the AU, are you going straight to college, or would you?" He like, "Man, I'm actually gonna go post grad. I'm going to Hargrave Military Academy." I'm like, "Hargrave Military Academy? I'm like, what is that?" So he got my wheels turning a little bit. So I did my research, and then coming to find out that Kevin Keats, he was at our AAU games watching, and so he had no clue that I was leaving Memphis. He didn't think this kid, has a really good foundation, has a really good team back in Memphis. He's been there for 3 years. No way he's probably gonna leave and try to come to a military academy. And so when I started to kind of do my research and I saw the guys that came through Hargrave and the guys that he coached and had played at a high level and has played in the NBA, I was like, hold on, like let me really think about this. And then David, one of my good team, I knew he was a great guy, and he helped us win a lot of games, and we became really close over those 3 to 4 months during the summer. And so when he told me that, and Keith kind of reached out to my AAU coach Ernie, and we kind of started talking, and then just decided, like, man, I want to do this. Now going into it, I knew it was gonna be tough, but I didn't think it was gonna be as tough as I thought. Like I was just outside looking in. It was like this is real deal military. Waking up at 6 a.m., clean shave, got to be on Company Street by 6:15, bed made, B1 on. Like this is full out real deal stuff. But in hindsight, it helped me so much. Just the discipline and just being on time and being organized and just being ready to go from the time you wake up into the time you go to bed. And so it was a great experience, great opportunity. I'm glad that I was able to experience that. And to be honest, to play with a lot of great guys who did a lot of great things in the college realm, and also had great careers to go play professionally, whether it was in NBA or overseas. And so, like I said, in hindsight, it was a great one of the best decisions I've ever made. But at the same time, I still think about it. My gosh, like what if I would have stayed my senior, play with these guys, and kind of finished up? So, but I was just thinking long term, and I just wanted to kind of be the best version of myself. And I knew if I wanted to go as far as I need to play against top competition. I need to be coached hard, and my body needs to be ready for that next level.
I love it. Now, I think that's such a good point for everything in life, right? If someone's listening right now and maybe they're not basketball, right? They're a business owner, they're in sales, whatever it is, but they say, I'm not at the level I want to be, but I don't know that I'm willing to make the changes, right? And
Yeah.
do something different than what I'm doing today. And it's like, well, if you're not where you want to be and you want to just keep doing the same thing, you'll probably never get to where you wanted to be, right? The change has to happen to get to that next level. So for you, as you're now getting the opportunity to coach players, how do
Uh,
you kind of convey that, life lesson you learned to them of like, "Hey, man, I see the people you're hanging out with," or "Hey, I see the
Yeah.
level of work ethic you're putting in, and there's a reason you're not getting the end results you want, or there's a reason you're not, seeing the progress that you'd like." How are you conveying that to the next generation at this point in your coaching role?
Absolutely. It kinda goes back to the, Kobe Bryant had a quote one time. He said, "You have to learn to be comfortable in
Yeah.
being uncomfortable." You know
Yep.
what I mean? And so, like, if everything you do every day is always comfortable, how are you growing? How are you learning?
That's good.
So I tell my guys when you come in the gym, if you're not pushing yourself to the max day in and day out, where it's uncomfortable, then we have wasted a day. And
Mm.
obviously, in the college realm right now, we don't have the opportunity to waste lives. Yeah,
That's right.
there's no more staying out of school 4 and 5 years and the AD, "Oh, it's fine. He'll get it turned around. He'll get it turned around." They want to win now.
Yep.
Now. They don't care about this is a new class, this is a new coaching staff. You try no, we wanna win now. So we don't have time to waste. So every day is precious, and we have to live in the moment and be in the moment. So that's what I just tell these guys, like, you gotta learn to be in uncomfortable situations,
Yeah.
and so once they learn that, and then you start to push yourself, and then once you start to push yourself, then hopefully that carry on to the next guy, and
That's
then
good.
he gets it, and then that carries on to the next guy. Now we start to see everybody elevating, everybody moving towards their goal, and then obviously in the highest, but the team goal. And so that's the biggest thing, man. Just push each other to the max and just be in the moment.
Yep. It's good. Now, in the moment, you decided to go to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Uh, Being from Tennessee, I would imagine there's a little bad blood on that decision. It's like, hey, you've got Tennessee Vols, you've got Memphis, and we're going to leave the state. So, talk a little about, what led you to Arkansas, or why you felt like, hey, this is going to be the best opportunity for me.
Honestly, just a lot of rich history. Actually, they had a lot of guys come out of Memphis, especially when they won that '94 national championship. We had a couple guys from Memphis on that team, and so just the love and the fan support when I went there for elite camps. Every time I came and visited, it was just unbelievable atmosphere. Whether that's
Yeah.
tailgating at a football game, like I said, going to camps. The camp is unbelievable. Fayetteville is pretty just itself, and I just felt like it was kind of a place where I could grow and learn and kinda not be too far,
Mhm.
Fayetteville from Memphis, about a 4.5-hour drive, so my parents can come back and forth visiting me, and it was close enough, like I said, I can get home, but not too far where family and friends couldn't come visit me, and I knew it was the SEC growing up in Memphis. You saw SEC all over, like you just said, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, who was right up the road, Alabama, Arkansas, and so it's like growing up and watching these teams play and compete, I always thought bigger, faster, stronger. And so I've always dreamed like, man, if I can ever just be 6'5", 6'6" point guard, like I can do it. Come like, because everybody's in SC was just big. And I was like,
That's
I
it.
want to be like that. Like I want to be these guys playing on Saturday morning, waking up, watching these games, watching these guys compete, these big time rivalries. You know what I mean? So it's always been a dream of mine. And so once I went to Arkansas and I saw the rich history and the guys that came through there, Todd Day, Keith Lee, and all these guys that came through there. I was like, "Oh, okay. Alright. I can do this." You know what I mean? I can really go somewhere, play at a high level, playing in a really tough conference and play against tough competition, and I
Yeah.
can see where I'm at, how I measure up against these guys because we already know the Kentucky had dudes, Florida got guys, and so it was day in and day out, you're playing against an NBA player. Everyone had at least for
That's
sure
it.
2 NBA guys on their team, and so
Yep.
every day you had to bring it. Every night wasn't a night, I'm not sure." Well, you better be ready, so
Yeah.
it was just a great experience, great opportunity, and so, like I said, I could envision myself as a kid growing up. I was like and when I first stepped into Budweiser Arena and I saw that big hog on the floor and I'm just looking up, glaring at the lights, and then I can just see myself, like, running out of that tunnel, I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm done. This is it."
This is it.
This is it. And I had great coach John Parafree, Tommy Osham, who recruited me really heavy, from pretty much ninth grade on up.
Yeah.
And he just stayed on me. He wouldn't turn me loose. And so they did unbelievable job recruiting. And so, but I just felt the love and the support, and I just felt like it was a great decision.
Yeah. Now, you've played, at this point in your career through Arkansas, you had played with for many different coaches, but, are there one or two lessons that, at the college ranking that coaches kind of bestowed upon you, culture building that you really bought into and then you've transitioned and kind of kept as a part of your life today?
One of the biggest thing I tell my guys is too, and obviously, like you said, I had great coach John Perifree for 1 year, then I had Mike Anderson my last 4 years, but
Yeah.
one thing they always talked about was like, um, players don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
So, that was the biggest thing, building relationship, meaningful relationship, getting to know guys, going to team dinners, team bonding. That would, to me, have kinda set the foundation of who I wanna be like and what I want my team to be like, and I just want those guys to know that I care about them more than just basketball. I care about them as young men, I care about them as potential fathers, just being good citizens in today's world, and so how do you do that? Just show up.
Yep.
That's it. Just show up. Open door policy, they call, pick up the phone.
Yep.
Just have that open communication where he can talk to me about anything. This is just not basketball. It's not at the surface, just at that little surface level. It goes beyond that. And so once those guys know that and they know that you really care, that's when you can really coach them hard. And because they know it's coming from a good place. It comes from a place of love, coming from a place of care. And you just want to see them do great. I just want them to do great. I want them to graduate, go beyond this. If you have aspiration of playing in NBA or overseas, I want them to do that, and then I want them to venture off in whatever the career they want to put themselves in and what they got the degree in or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, just be a great person. Just be a
Yeah.
great person, man.
Well, I think it's interesting with what you said about the decision to go to Hargrave. You said I want to be coached hard
Yep.
because it would help me become the best that I can be. And I think so frequently people don't want to be coached hard because they want things to be easy, right?
Easy.
Or we don't want to coach them hard because we want to maintain the friendship.
Right.
And the reality is that yeah, in that moment, you might be maintaining the friendship, right? Because it's easier to let your friend do something dumb than to hold them accountable to what they should be doing. But in the long run, you don't want people to look back with hindsight and say, man, if only Coach Wade would have pushed me harder, right? Like,
Right.
because then I could have had a chance to play internationally. So for you, how do you keep that perspective as you're coaching and, nurturing relationships with young men of like, hey, I know you may not like me in this moment, but I'm doing this because I care about your long term potential, not our friendship for this next 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, and then it also kinda goes back to just growing up. My parents were hard on me, like, they instilled rules in me, like, "Hey, you're gonna do X, Y, and Z, or you're not going outside." We all had chores, we all had things we had
Yeah,
to do, and so you did them because if not, there's consequences behind it,
that's right.
and so it's the same thing, so I just call it's tough love, and a lot
Yeah,
of guys, they not used to that, they don't grow under that umbrella in
yeah,
today's time anymore, like punishment and whoopings, like, I got it all. Like, I got it all. If you didn't take that trash out Monday morning, and if it wasn't on that curb, and let my father come home after work at 5, and those trash cans are not in the backyard and not off the street, there's consequences behind that. So,
yeah,
just those little things kinda help mold me into the person I am today, and I continue to pour that into my players as well. It's like, it's gonna be tough love. Like you just said, like, you might not like me now, but I promise you, 10 years from now, you're gonna look back at this moment and you're like, "Coach, I appreciate you
yeah,
saying that at that moment where I messed up or I was about to, and you corrected me, and now this has helped me with my children, or it has helped me with my coaching career if they choose to be in that profession." And so, I don't take those things lightly. So, and I wanna you do something, I wanna nip it in the bud, right? I don't want it to linger on, linger on, linger on, because then that's when you form bad habits, and then that's when you kinda have a disconnect. So if you can see it, if I can get to them right then in that moment, I try to address it. And obviously, kinda goes back to what you're saying a little bit. Everybody's kinda different a little bit, so you have to that's why I said we always talking about nurturing it and knowing your players and having
yeah,
an ear to listen and an open door posture. You have to know each player is different, everybody's different, so you gotta know how to get to these guys, whether that's, do I gotta jump down your throat, do I gotta be loud, or are you one of those guys I gotta push to the side? Or do I, "Hey, come to my office after practice, like, let's talk about this."
yeah,
It just
yeah.
depends on who that guy is, and so that's my job to figure that part out, right? So
It's good. Now, with your time at Arkansas, What are one or two either gyms or arenas you played in that really stood out and you're like, "Man, that was a great environment." And, was there any one home game that really stands out to you of like, "This was, one of my most favorite games to be a part of and play in?"
Well, it's probably gonna be 2 of them. It's gonna be 2, probably the same team. I love playing in Rupp Arena in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, historically, that place is electric. It gets loud, they come out, that blue is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I probably when we played there, and I probably saw just a handful of red in there, just
Yeah.
maybe a smidgen in there, but I mean, loud. Obviously, they have great talent, Anthony
Yeah.
Davis, the twins. I mean, it was just always great competition, but those fans and just being in that environment and just to be able to compete at a high level, I thought that was just unreal. And then the next one, probably, again, Kentucky at Arkansas. Where I wanna say it's maybe 6 seconds left on the game clock, maybe a little bit less. Kentucky hits a 3, James Youngs hits a 3 to tie the game up. Kyle Madden dribbles up right side of court, takes a step back 3, and he misses it, and so we're just a timeout, we don't need a 3. Like,
Yeah.
drive it. Mike Qual, who's in the opposite corner, cuts baseline, dunk tips it for the game. That place went bonkers. Bonkers. I
Yeah.
mean, it was on fire. I'm telling you, like, I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I couldn't believe like, I had to pause for a second because he
Yeah.
jumped up so high two-handed because obviously everyone's shot goes up, so everyone's just staring at the ball. No one's thinking to box out anything.
Right.
So no one box out Mike Qual. No one. I'm like, and if you need to box somebody out, that dude, you need to box him out. That's the dude you need to box out. And he
Yeah.
crashed offensive glass and he dunk tips it for the game. I was like, what did I just witness? Next minute. Like I said, I paused for a second and then I
Yeah.
ran it like just bear hugged. I'm like, oh my, I'm like just shaking. I'm like, what? Like I'm going crazy. And I think that was like one of the greatest moments ever in my college career. Like that moment was electrifying. And so I'll never forget that moment ever.
Amazing. Now, I gotta ask this, as an Arkansas alum, in Kentucky, a little bad blood there.
Yeah.
Coach Cal making the leap from Kentucky to Arkansas. I mean, it's always fun to have a winner around, so I'm sure there is a lot of open arms. But there's also the fact that, well, you're at Kentucky. How are we feeling about Coach Cal coming into Arkansas?
Well, here's the thing. I've always been a Kyle Perry fan. Obviously, growing up in Memphis,
Yeah,
I've
that's
always
it.
been a fan of him.
Yeah,
So when he went from Kentucky to Arkansas, people like, "Oh my gosh, why would he do that?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, growing watching all those great teams with Derrick Rose, CDR, Joey
yeah,
Dorsey, just growing up and watching these guys, Jeremy Hunt, all these great guys
yeah,
that came through there as a kid. I was like, "Man, Calipari, Memphis team, like that blue." I'm like, man, I was just so happy. It was astounding. I was like, "This is gonna be unbelievable. He's gonna do an unbelievable job," which he's has done an
yeah,
unbelievable job there, and he loves it up there. The fans support him. Everybody has his back, and so I'm rooting for him. I want him to see him do great. I was one of those people who was happy and glad that we was able to get a legendary coach, a guy who's an unbelievable recruiter. Was gonna get guys there, gonna put butts in those seats, and he's
yep.
gonna win games, and that's for sure. And he's gonna be a tournament guy every freaking year.
Yep, that's it. Yeah,
Yep.
I got to see them play last year with Darius Acuff, and man, yeah, they had some talent. So
Yes, they did. Oh my god, they cover tough. Oh my god.
very tough.
Man, he's a great just his leadership, his ability to attack, to make plays and pick and roll, really good have really good side physicality. Like he's gonna do unbelievable things, unbelievable job at the next level. I have no doubts in my mind that he's gonna have an unbelievable NBA career.
Yep, that's it. Well, talking about the next level, as you get through your years with Arkansas, I'm sure there's dreams, goals, aspirations of the next level, and the hard part is only so many guys get drafted into the NBA. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a very small amount of college and international players that get drafted into the NBA, but there's opportunities to play for some affiliate leagues. So, talk a little bit about that transition from you and getting into the G League and playing there.
Yeah, like you said, my inspiration was to play in the NBA. And
Yeah.
so, after college, I really just honed in, like, obviously, my mind going to overdrive. You're trying to cipher through agents, who's gonna represent you, and, trying to stay in tip-top shape and trying to, make sure you're healthy, take care of all these little things, and so, uh, obviously, during that transition, I was able to, play in the G League, and I was able to learn and play for, with our energy. Bob Dunwall Jr., obviously, his coach, he also coached in the NBA, father coached in the NBA for a while as well, so I was able to learn a lot from him and just be able to be around a lot of great guys.
Yeah.
Andrew Harrison obviously played in Kentucky, was my
Yeah.
guy, and we played, and I learned so much from him and just being there and just knowing, like, I'm, like, this close to, like, getting a 10-day, like, I
Yeah.
can like, I'm right there, and so that kept me going knowing that you're right there, and through all that, I was able to learn and grow into, uh, a mindset of, you know, one day you could potentially, be on the other side of this, like, you can actually
Mm.
be on the coaching and doing something
Yeah.
because I started to transition a little bit more into the coaching mindset because I was able to watch so much film and be around great guys, and I wasn't a star player, I was a really good role player, and so, obviously, I
Yeah.
played behind great guys, so I was able to do a lot of watching and learning and picking guys' brains and knowing what they like to do, what they don't like to do, like, fits in this style, of offense versus this style offense, or, and so I was able to kinda play these kinda games for myself and made it and piggyback off different players and coaches. And that experience was just unbelievable. Like you said, a lot of people don't even get to that level. And a lot of guys don't even get to play professionally on any level, whether
Yeah.
that's G League or overseas. And so I didn't take it lightly. Like I said, I wanted to compete every single day, whether it was in practice or in games. And I just want to just be an ultimate teammate. I want to be a great guy. And like I said, I just want to be kind of a sponge and soak up as much knowledge as I can from the guys and to try to help myself better myself as I journey down this kind of career path of being a professional athlete and then venture off and option to the coaching realm.
Yeah. Now, the the question I have is I think so many people have this big goal, right?
Mhm.
And oftentimes we feel like if we don't hit the big goal, we failed, right? Like
Right.
we didn't meet our own expectation.
Yep.
And my guess is your big goal, as I think I've heard you say, was the NBA, right? I want to
Yep.
play in the NBA. And although I think to many people, like you said, it's like, man, it was that close, right? Like it was that close.
Yep.
Was there a sense in you of, like, frustration or disappointment of not, you know, getting to that level, or was it, "Man, I'm getting paid to play basketball, like, I mean, how much better do yeah, how much better does it get than this?" And then talk a little bit about just kinda navigating that because once again, someone listening, had a big goal and maybe they've gotten really close, but they haven't hit the goal yet,
Yep.
and I think it's easy to start feeling, frustrated and a little bit down about how things are going at that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it's a lot of frustration, and then you kind of doubt yourself a little bit, like, "Hey, man, is I'm really as good as I thought I was?" You
Yeah,
start to question yourself, and then when you start to kind of look back on how far you came and the things you accomplished leading up to that point, you start like, you know what? I was all right. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I did all right. I accomplished a lot. I've learned a lot. I've been around a lot of great people. And then you just start to kind of like wiggle your way through the kind of like that tough, that rough patch, You start to kind of figure things out. Like you're starting to see the light on the other side of the tunnel a little
yep.
bit. And it's kind of like that saying, like, you aim for the moon, but if you miss, you're still amongst the stars,
That's right, that's right.
you know? And so I started going with that mindset and that mentality. It's like, hey, I did everything I wanted to do and even a little bit more because I was still able to make meaningful relationships and people that I've never known
That's
my
it.
entire life until now. And I was able to network and meet this person. I was able to meet this person. And now it has helped me to become the person I am today. And so I tell guys all the time, like, don't get frustrated with the failures
Yep,
because it's not you're not really failing. No, it's I'd say it like this, it's wins and it's learns. You don't
yep,
lose anything.
it's
If
good.
anything, I learned something. I learned what not to do. I learned how to get better. I learned this about myself. I learned, how to, navigate through mental frustration and hardship. So I didn't lose anything. I learn. So, like I tell guys, man, it's wins and learns. And so just
Yep.
stay positive, and if anything, just learn to be yourself. You know what I mean? Don't try to be something you're not, and just be in the moment. Like I said, just be where your feet are. And so
Yep.
if you always be where your feet are, you can never get too far ahead, and you can never get too low. And so you
Yep.
always be even keel.
Well, and I think something that you said there is really good, and something I tell myself frequently is, you can compare yourself to whatever you want, but the
Yep,
best barometer of comparison is to your past, your present, and your potential.
yep,
Right. The second you start comparing yourself to somebody else, or, hey, you could say, well, look at what Price is doing, like,
yep,
shoot.
exactly. Yep,
Well, then there's no joy in it because, well, you're not him and he's not you, right?
you.
But the
Yep,
second you look back and you go, man, look at where I've come from. I was playing basketball in a street, in
yep,
Tennessee, like, and I'm playing in, the NBA affiliate league, right? Life's
man.
pretty good, man. Like, I'm
Man,
maximizing my potential.
absolutely. Yep. So, yeah, just like I said, man, just be in a moment, be yourself, and that'll always be good enough.
Yep,
Just work hard, treat people right, be a good human being, and you'll figure it out. You'll find your way through it. It always, the law of energy, it attracts itself. Good energy, it always comes back to you. So,
that's it.
just you know,
I love it. Now, after the G League, you play overseas for a couple of years, but like you mentioned, there starts to be a thought in your head of, hey, maybe I could get into the coaching side of this.
yep,
And post playing internationally, you come back home to
yep,
Memphis, and you are on staff with Coach Hardaway there. So talk a little about one, transitioning from playing to coaching.
yep.
I know that's always a transition, but two, being in the hometown, or vibe in the city, and under Coach Hardaway.
Man, absolutely. I've actually been knowing Coach Hardaway for a long time. I
Yeah,
actually went to school with his daughter, LaTemper Hardaway, when we was in middle school. So he used to come up there and see her and all that stuff. So, and I was able to meet him as a young hooper in Memphis, and obviously
yeah,
growing. And one thing about Coach Hardaway, he does not forget anything. Like he remembers everything. You don't think he's paying attention or listening?
yeah,
He knows. Like he knows. Like you did something in eighth grade. Like y'all remember using the city championship, like he knows. And so I was able to build a relationship. And then during the summertime when I was in college, he used to have a lot of runs at his gym. So we used to always play together,
yeah,
play on the same team, play against each other. So he's always had a kind of like a open door policy. Everyone had his number. If you was a hooper in Memphis, if you didn't get in some of those Penny Hardaway runs, then you probably were no real hooper. And so, um, and so when I was making a transition, I knew he had the job at at Memphis. And then
yeah,
obviously my other good friend, Mike Miller at the time was on staff as well. So I had a kind of like a little connection. And so I knew, like I said, I was trying to jump into the college realm. And before then, I was just coaching summer AU. I was coaching with Hoop City on the Adidas circuit in
yeah,
Memphis. And so I was like, man, how can I go from, coaching AU to in college? And so I was like, well, it's going to be hard to get a
yeah,
job just coaching AAU and being on someone's staff. And so I was like, well, I have to probably go somewhere and be a GA. And so Coach Holloway heard about it and he kind of reached out to me. He said, hey man, I heard you trying to get into this college game and whatnot. He like, man, I might have a spot for you. He said, right now I'm in Atlanta, I'm doing something for Nike. He said, I'll hit you up later. And so again, I'm like, "Man, is he gonna hit me? I'm probably his phone probably blown up with a million guys like me
right,
trying in the college trying to get a GA. He ain't gonna call me back. But like
yep,
I said, Coach Holloway doesn't forget anything. He tells you he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it.
he does,
He's
yeah,
gonna do it. So I never forget. I get a phone call. It's probably like 11:30 at night. And I look at it, it's Coach Hardaway. So I pick up the phone. Hey, he's like, man, sorry, hitting you up late, man. I just finally getting settled in. I've been at meetings all day. He's like, hey man, I might have a GA spot for you. Would you be interested in it? He's like, hey, doesn't pay anything, but I think you'd be great. I'd love to have you around the guys. You're young, you just got done playing, you better get in the gym, work with my guys.
yeah,
So long story short, I end up getting on. I end up getting accepted in school and whatnot. And so we had an unreal 2 years. And I tell people all the time, I probably have one of the best all around coaching staffs.
mm,
Uh, For is when it comes to knowledge of the game, IQs, offense, you talk about Penny Hardaway's the head coach.
yeah,
Mike Miller, 17 years in the NBA. one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA history.
The
Cody
best, yeah.
yeah, even Cody Topper, come from the NBA, G
Uh,
League, unbelievable mastermind offensive guy. I was like, I had the best of both worlds, where there's guys from offense, guys that play defense, guy that was probably at one point in time was the best player in the NBA, which is Coach
yeah,
Hardaway at
yeah,
one point in time.
yeah,
And all these different mindset all into one building, it was unreal. The knowledge, the stories, the trips, man, just the things they did and how they saw the game. It was just like, oh my gosh, like some days I go in there, I was like, I don't know nothing. I know nothing because the stuff they're saying, the offense, passing, just drills that I've never done before. Obviously, and they have done it at a high level and
yeah,
compete at a high level and play with great guys. And so they know what it looks like. And so
yep,
to be around those guys and be a sponge and to kind of ride their coattail and to be able to be in the mix with these guys, it was unreal experience, and I'll never take those days for granted and never take those guys for granted. Just really thankful and just humble for them, just a humbling experience and just thankful for the things that they taught me and the things I learned from all those guys just have put me into this kinda trajectory towards upward, man, because like I said, their mindset is just unreal. It is unreal.
Now, once again, and I'm sure there's a lot, but is there any one, leadership or cultural building thing that Penny Hardaway would do with the team that you really loved or bought into and, have kinda taken with you?
Um, There's a lot of them, but probably the biggest thing is he's just really hands-on dude, and, like, he's
Mm,
one of those dudes like, "Hey, man, let's go to lunch. Let's go to dinner." Like, just sit down, just being one-on-one like I talk about, just really getting to know the guys and just can
yeah,
really just relate to guys because his upbringing and how hard growing up with his grandma and all that stuff. So like he's big family dude. He's big on just, just take your arm around guys and just really getting to know them and really just
mm,
spending time with them and just really diving in. And so that was probably one thing. And then the other thing is competing.
yeah,
Compete at a high freaking level day in and day out. You're gonna compete and you're gonna have that grittiness to you. And so he talks about all the time, like, I want my team identity to take on mine. Like,
yeah,
I ain't back down from nobody. I don't
yep.
want my team to back down from nobody. And so
Yep.
he keeps that same mentality, that same mindset.
It's good. Now, as you mentioned, it's a GA role, which means it has a finite timeline on it.
Yes.
But after the time at Memphis, we move on to South Carolina State, and then South Carolina State to Alabama State, and end up going to NCAA tournament. So, talk a
Yeah.
little bit about how those opportunities came to be, and then just the progression there.
Yeah. So same thing. So even though I talked about Mike Miller and Cody Topper. The next was Tony Medlock.
Yeah.
And so I tell people all the time, Tony Medlock was the glue to all that. So
Mm,
I'll talk about how great offensive mind in NBA, how orange they was, but Tony was the guy that kept everything because he's been coaching the longest.
yeah.
He's been in the college realm. He knows that day in and day out what it looks like, what what this guy needs credit wise to be able to get eligible. Because you think about it, Penny came straight from high school coach, so
Right.
didn't college spent.
Yeah.
Mike just came from NBA,
Yeah.
golfing, you know, so and then obviously top NBA guy, so they don't know anything how this stuff really works,
Right.
getting guys eligible and this credit and all that, but Tony does. And so
Yeah.
Tony is really steering this ship to be quite frankly with you. Like he's
Yeah.
making sure guys are on time, this is done, they're meeting with their advisor. Like he's kind of navigating this whole thing. And so me and Tony got really close because obviously he's a Memphis guy as well. But
Okay.
just I got the opportunity to see how he worked and how he kept everything moving and he kept
Yeah.
everything organized and everything kind of working how I need and kept the gears turning while those guys could be the best version of themselves with
Yeah.
with Penny, Mike, and Top. And so once he kind of saw how I was working, how hard I was working day in and day out, because like you said, people think GAs, they just think, it's easy. No, like You're
No.
making sure guys on time, you doing class checks, if uniform need to be washed, you're packing, you're loading the bus up, you're doing food orders, you're making
Yeah.
sure guys are, where they supposed to be, you know, you working guys out, you watching
Uh,
film as well, you're doing schoolwork as well. So
yeah.
your day is full all day. It's never a easy day, it's never a chill day, and a day that is off, you're catching up on schoolwork.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, you're catching up on schoolwork, so it was never a day I was like, "Well, I have nothing today." No,
Yeah.
it's never nothing. It's
Yep.
never nothing, and so, I tell people all the time it was another great, life experience as well because I had the opportunity to juggle so many things and be so many different people and just in this one little realm, and
Yeah.
so I had to learn quickly, like, yeah, I have to be on point, and I have to be on time, and I have to be organized, and I gotta be ready to go when it's time to go. And
Yep.
so, uh, like, again, one of those kind of moments that I never take for granted because it has helped me as well. Like, if you can do all that, then you'll be just fine in this in
Yeah.
this in this college business. If you can juggle all that and still be able to do work and
Yep.
pass and get a master's in 2
Uh,
years, you're gonna be just fine, buddy. You're gonna be just o you're gonna be okay. And, but yeah, it was a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of grit, you
yeah.
know, and you had to have thick skin and you have to be a different person. You have to have a different mindset, to be honest
Yep.
with you. So I applaud guys who are GAs. I don't look down on them. I don't take those guys for granted. I don't take their jobs lightly at all because I know what type of work it is, and I know it's not the glamorous,
Yeah.
life people think it is. It's actually a lot of work. They just see the glory. They don't know the
That's it.
story. They just
That's
see
it.
those guys behind a bench with clipboards and erasers, and they think it's easy. Nah, it ain't easy. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, and so talk about that for you. I mean, I think the term servant leader can be
Yeah.
overused or just stated incorrectly, but in my opinion, as I hear about, your story and embracing that role, it would be very easy for you to have an ego, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, I played at Arkansas. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I can probably beat 10 of the 12 guys one on one on this team right now. Like, like
Yeah.
I played internationally. I played, NBA affiliate G League. It's like, guys, really? I have to be a GA? Like, come on, I know more
Nope.
than this. But you embraced it, right? And you're
Yeah.
willing to do it and you're willing to be a hungry leader, willing to learn. And so, talk about that. Not thinking too much above your or of yourself to be above any specific role.
Absolutely, like you say, like, you definitely gotta check your ego at the door, that's for
Mm,
sure. You know, once you step in that building, it's not about you anymore,
yeah,
it's about the team,
that's
and
it.
if you say you wanna win at a high level and you say you wanna do all these great things, then it cannot be about you. It
Mm,
just cannot. It's hard to come into that building and it's about you. Then
yeah,
you're not about winning if it's about you, and
yep,
so I was blessed and fortunate to be around a lot of great guys and great GAs, and we just bonded together. We formed this brotherhood. Like, hey, when we come in this building, we're all about Memphis Tigers basketball.
yeah,
That's it. We're not about Mardracus Wade basketball. We're not about Mike Brown basketball. Hey, we're about Memphis Tiger basketball, serving these guys, serving this university,
yep.
and helping this team be the best team that they possibly be day in and day out.
So good, man.
Whether it's if we gotta wash jerseys and wash practice uniform, that's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
If we gotta sweep before these guys come here, that's what we're gonna do. If we
Uh,
gotta get these guys water bottles and fill them up, that's what we're gonna do. And so when you have that mindset and that mentality, it helps you go by so much better, but at the same time, you learn so much about yourself and the people around you that they're willing to make sacrifice for the greater good.
mm,
And so when you have people in either not just in basketball in your life that are with you, that are willing to make sacrifice for the greater good, it normally leads to something unreal and also lead to unreal memories, lifehood bonds with people, and it's just always magical, you know? And so
yep,
I always want, like I said, I wanna be around the magical. I wanna be around a magical experience. I wanna be around magical people. I wanna be around it, you know? And if I have to make sacrifice for this to happen, I'm making sacrifice for this to happen, you know?
love it.
Because I wanna feel good. I wanna be good, and I and I want everybody around me to be good. So
That's it.
I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. Now, magical experience, you know, Alabama State going to the NCAA tournament.
Magical.
Just talk about that. I mean, you know, once again, it's not that Alabama State's not capable of doing it, right? But you know, when it's Kentucky, it's the expectation. When it's
Right.
Alabama State, it's like, man, this is a big deal, right? Like, I mean,
Huge.
this is the goal. So, talk a little about the season and making the tournament.
I'm gonna tell you, I knew that year was gonna be magical.
Yeah,
Cause I'm gonna tell you why.
yeah,
When we started summer workouts, we returning three top three top guards that have
yeah,
been around the program for the last three, some guys, fours. It was TJ Matlock, Coach Tony Matlock's son, his
yeah,
senior year. And the look on Amar Knox, CJ Hines, TJ, when the looks on their face like, Coach, no, we're gonna do it this year. And
yeah,
how they said it, it wasn't like it wasn't no joking matter. And it was like it came from a spot like, no, coach, we're gonna do it.
yeah,
And I looked in those guys' eyes and they wasn't taking no for an answer. They wasn't backing down from nothing, from
yeah,
nobody. I don't care who we played. They brought it day in and day out.
yeah.
And I tell people all the time, good teams, coach lead. Great teams are player led.
Mm,
They led from a leadership standpoint, from coming in day out, having a high energy in practice, talk, communicate, holding guys accountable in the locker room,
yeah,
speaking up when they need to speak up. Like
yeah,
we were in huddles, they would come in, hey coach, let's run this. Hey coach, hey, I think they're doing these in pick and roll situations. Hey, we can run this action. When your players start speaking up in huddles, telling you what we need to run and what defense we need to switch to, that's how you know they're well connected and they
that's
all
it.
on the same page. And we had guys that were like that on that team. And I just saw it. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a magical moment because they were allowed to hold each other accountable with and while these guys were okay with having constructive criticism, you know, they
Yeah,
wasn't taking it personal. They were like,
no,
they were getting on each other, and then they were like, "Yeah, you was right. That's hey, that was on me. Hey, that was a bad
mm,
pass by me. My bad. Hey, I should have got that rebound. That's on me. I got y'all guys. Hey, I should have dove on that loose ball. That's on me." And so when they started talking like that, I was like,
yeah,
"Yep, this the team." And so we went on that unbelievable run. Um, just in that second part of the season, obviously
yeah,
winning the SWAC championship was just felt unreal just to kind of cap it because I went in that season like I want to win, coach, the
yeah,
SWAC championship. Like being an assistant, like I want to win. Like I want he deserves it. How
yeah,
much he's poured into these guys, how much he's poured into us, his leadership, you know, his coaching experience. Like I want to do this for him
it's good.
and he wanted it as bad as all of anybody. And so it was just an unbelievable run and experience. And like I said, those guys really just kind of band together and made
Yeah.
that team what it was.
It's amazing. Now, if you're watching this, you'll see behind him, it doesn't say Alabama State. If you're listening, we'll just have to explain, but we're no longer at Alabama State, right? As I announced at the very beginning, we're now at Murray State.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about the decision to make the move and, really what brought you to Murray.
Obviously, they hired Ryan Miller.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm really close friends with his brother we talked about
Yeah.
earlier, Mike Miller. So once he got the job, he reached out. Obviously, we got a little ties there because he actually recruited me when he was at New Mexico, and so
Okay.
we always have always had a relationship. We always text, "Hey man, that was a good win. I saw y'all last night," or whatever the case may be. Hey, just checking in on you. How's this going? How's this? And so he's always been transparent. He's always been responsive. So when he got the job, he knew I was kind of up and coming in the ranks, and he know he needed a guy from Memphis on the staff and guy that can kind of relate to guys that can obviously recruit, work guys out. And so we kind of just aligned with his goals and his vision. And he's another guy who's on another level. When you talk about just mindset, basketball guru, he is a basketball junkie. Like he eats, breathe, lives basketball. And I'm talking about all day long. Like
Yeah.
he's in the office, he's watching film, he's critiquing every little thing. Like he's a unreal dude and he's a great coach. And just his mindset about things is like, wow. And he's been around a lot of great coaches, Greg McDermott at Creighton, just
Yeah.
he's been around the best of the best. And so just kind of pick his brain and be around him day in and day out has helped me so much. And so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. Well, Marjorie, I'm thankful for you. One, for sharing your journey today, but two, all the wisdom you shared and just the amount of people it's going to help. But I'm excited for your season ahead, and we'll probably be doing this again in 2 or 3 years, and maybe at Murray, but maybe somewhere else. Who knows? But I'm just excited for your journey, man, and go get after it this year.
Absolutely, man. I thank you so much, Phil. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for this opportunity, man, just to be here and talk about my journey, how I got here. And just thanks again, man.